Um, I don't know if this will be interesting or not, but it was something that I've been working on it for a couple days, but I made this little sketchbook, and I thought somebody else might want to make one. Because I wanted this colored paper. This is cardstock. I got like a pack of, what's it called? It's just rainbow colored cardstock. And because I had seen Jane Davenport sells a journal it's called Rainbow-itis, and it's got all colored cardstock in it. But I wanted a full-size one. This is almost full-size because the binding does take up, you know, maybe, I don't know, ½ inch maybe? Inch? About an inch, I suppose. But still, most of the book binding instructions, I've been watching all kinds of YouTube videos, and most of them are for a paper that's folded, and I didn't want a small book. I wanted a large book. I like the bigger size. And so I just took it's 8.5 by 11 regular cardstock paper. And you can, if you want to make one with sewing, you can fold it in half and make little things. And you can, if you want to do full size, you can also do a gluing thing. I didn't really want to do that because I would have to, I don't know. It just seemed like a lot more work than this, although maybe it isn't. I don't know. I just wanted it to feel secure, and these things made it feel secure to me. So I thought I made one, and I was going to finish the other one just to kind of show you what I've done. So first off, the cover is sort of a repurposed, you know, these storage bags with the zipper. So I just took a seam ripper, I removed the zipper, and this size, which is, I don't know, what size is this? It fits these two perfectly. So I used almost the entire thing for 2 of them, and I had very little left over. Now I originally thought about, because I'd been reading about bookbinding, I originally thought like a harder cardboard that comes with paper would be a good binding, but it's a little bit stiff. So I think if you want to do one, if you don't have one of these bags, I think you could use something like this. This is you know, like, what do they call them, like a report folder or something. You could use this kind of cover. It's a, you know, a little stiffer than cardstock, or one of those like the 3-ring binders with the kind of flimsy plastic. That might work too if you have one of those hanging around. You just have to poke holes in it. So this is also something else I made. It's another Jane Davenport thing. I'm just like trying to recreate all the things that she has that I can't afford right now. So this is vellum, and it's multicolored vellum. And although when you paint on it, it crinkles up, it's kind of a neat effect. I don't know, I kind of like it. I'll have to do like a little demonstration when this is done. It's just kind of a fun thing to play with. But, and I was actually going to mix it in with these, with the cardstock, but I decided just to do a separate book for them. So what I did was I just cut this down to size. I actually cut it in half so that it's one piece. And the edges currently are just folded over, and I think that's just the way the bag was made. So I'm not sure. I have some like cloth tape that I was going to use, but because it's see-through, I'm not sure I want to use it. And the bottom, the top part is like that too. The bottom is kind of open. I'm thinking this may fray at some point because it's, you know, plastic and thread, but so far so good. It's not doing anything bad yet. So anyway, folded that in half. I got my cardstock. I chose to do 5 holes. You don't have to do 5 holes. You can do 3, you can do 2, whatever you. But I just did one in the middle, I did one on each end, and then I did one in between. So I didn't really measure, I just kind of eyeballed it. I don't know why I put this first. This is just like a transparency sheet. use it for, you can cut out stencils with it, or you can use it to use in a copy machine. If people still use those. I still have one. So I cut the holes. Actually, I did this first. I rounded all the corners because I thought that it gave it a kind of cool look. Well, I rounded just the ones on this side. This side I left plain. I use this thing here. This is just it like cuts out. Where is that paper anyway? I was using it. I saved the last few pages just to show you how I did it. So I used like an old piece of watercolor paper, measured it out on here. It made it, it's a little bigger, so I made it the same size as the paper. And I clipped the, oh, let me show you the corner. So you just take a corner and you whoop, and it gives it a curved corner. And there's a couple different sizes, but anyway, that's kind of fun. So, so I could use that as a guide so that it would pretty much be uniform. So the holes are on the watercolor paper, and I just do a little dot. Try to get it in the center. And if you have a dark piece of paper, you can either use a light pen or you can just switch it so that it's under a lighter color. I just wanted mine to be kind of varied, so I mixed up the colors. I'm trying to think of what they're called. It was, I'll have to look it up. Oh, my hand hurts because I've been doing this all night. Oh, okay. Last ones. All right. So this I got at Amazon. The paper I got at Walmart. Oh, Astro Brights. It's called Astro Brights Color Cardstock Spectrum. 25 colors. It's 100 sheets, and it was $10.76 for that. So $7.65 approximately. About 20 bucks, and I got these bags, and I got 12 of them. So these are the magical things I found. I was looking at all different ways to bind, and they have these machines that'll poke holes, and you can like put these, you know, the little plastic curly things, and those will go in and it'll hold it together. Like that would have been nice, but I don't want to spend the money to buy a machine and to buy all. You can't just buy one or two of the plastic bindings, so you have to buy like 100. Well, unless I'm going into business, I don't want to do that. So I found these, and this was, I think, about $15. Comes with 15, so if you use 3, you could do 3 holes. You could do 5 books, but I don't plan on doing more than 2, at least right now. They're like a little plastic. They look like a screw. It's not really a screw. You just twist the top off like that, and I'll have to show you afterwards. Actually, let me finish this first because I do have to poke some holes into this thing, and I'll show you how I did that. You have to account for the thickness of however many sheets you put in. So I think there's about 50 sheets in both of these because it was a pack of 100. So even it out so that it's evenly around. I made it so that it was pretty flush with the top. So you gotta play with that a little bit. So because it's see-through, I suppose if it's not see-through, you can use this to do it. But I just mark the hole in the middle, permanent marker. Yeah, see, now it's moved. I think I'm gonna have to do these holes over again. All right, let's do it again. I'll do a little X though, so that, or I'll do a bigger hole. Now it's gonna have marks on it. And then, without moving it too much, flip it. Do marks on the back. Now, you're not going to be able to use this thing for most of them, but you can use it for the ones on the end. I think these are fairly cheap, probably. I've had that forever, but probably can get it at a dollar store. Okay, so you can take this off. the first ones, you can just clip it. See, the strings are showing, but I think it stays together pretty well, even if they do show. All right, one more here. This one. Okay, for these, I used pokey things. This is, I think it's a clay tool, but just be careful not to poke yourself. But I do the sharp one first because the awl isn't particularly sharp. Like this is like a nail or a needle. It's very sharp. So I just make a small hole, and then I use the awl to kind of make it a little bit bigger. Okay, get the pointy thing out of here. All right, so this is the awl. It's not as pointy. It's still poke. I mean, I wouldn't want to be stabbed with it, but it's a little blunt, a little bit blunter. Blunter? More blunt. I don't know. And just poke it through so the holes are a little bit bigger. You won't get them as large as the punch probably, but doesn't matter. Right. So I'm glad this worked out. I had no idea how to do this, and I just tried. All right, so now you make sure that you line these up with the holes if you didn't measure, because when I did it before, I did on the first one, and I went to put these in, the holes weren't even, so I'm pretty sure this is the right way. Yeah, that's lined up better. Okay. Actually, these probably won't show much, the little mistakes. So then these things, I believe, I think it's intended so that these are on top, so that they go in from the bottom up, but I kind of like the look of this, so I did it that way. I suppose I could do both and see which works better. Let's see. No, I kind of like that look. I differentiated them by starting with blue, ending with blue, and one with green. So where's that loose one? Okay. So I want to come from, I know I want to go this way. So you poke it through that hole. And you want it, actually I might do two, because then it'll be sturdy. All right. Actually, the way I did it was a lot easier, but it's not that difficult to do. It's just making sure it's in there. Push it all the way through. You want to get, see, that's the, see, when I did it, okay, we can bend it a little. Okay. So now that that's in there, it's pretty stable. So you just take this, you remove it from the bottom. I was having a little, it doesn't come with instructions, so you have to kind of figure it out. If they do have, on the website, they did have a diagram. So they had a diagram, and I fought with that a little bit, but I did learn that once you get them in there, you can snip off. You can use scissors, but these tend to work. These are like a little wire snipper. So you cut off so that there's still some sticking up, but cut off most length of it. It depends on how many sheets. I could have done just one big book with this, actually, but I didn't want to do something that thick. So there's, I don't know, like a ½ an inch maybe. I'm not really good with measurements, clearly, because I thought ½ inch was an inch. So let's see. It's about 3/4 of an inch. And then I like to snip off these little things too. It's, I don't know if you can see it. There's a little, because it's attached with a little piece of, you know, plastic, but it's a bit sharp, so I just snip that off. It's a bit hard to get it on there at first, because at first I was trying to screw it on, and see, you just have to shove it on there. It's kind of like, you know, like a zip tie. When you pull it, it like catches on every little thing. That's what this is. It catches on each little. So I didn't do it completely flat. I gave it a little bit of wiggle room. I don't know why, but it felt like it probably should be able to move a little bit. One more. I think maybe just leaving enough, like I could push it down one more and make it tight. I just left it so that it wasn't all the way down. Okay. It's a lot easier now that I know how to do it. Spent a while trying to figure it out last night. Plus I was doing it on the bed, so it wasn't as easy. Although this doesn't seem very easy. I'm gonna have to get up. There you go. One more? Or no? Yes. And the last one. See, it looks like a little button. Okay, that's good. And then you take the wire cutter and you snip it. I didn't snip it all the way down. I don't know, I'm kind of panicking that it'll come apart. I'm sure it won't, but I snipped it. Oh, I could do that one a little bit. So you run your finger across it. It feels mostly flat. I think the other one I didn't cut as low because I was worried that it would come undone. So maybe I'll snip those down a little bit. And there you go. So once you open it, you have a pretty good sized page. You are missing the little bit on the side, but I think, I don't know. I mean, if you're looking for something that's going to open flat, this is not the way that you want to go. Anyway, so that's it. So I thought I would. I didn't want to do it in my new sketchbooks because I'm precious about them. But I thought I would take a piece of cardstock and a piece of vellum and kind of test different materials on them to see how they work on them. Vellum, if you don't know vellum, vellum is just, you can trace through it, but it's a little bit thicker than normal tracing paper. It's very like tissue paper. And this is a little, and it's kind of more like, I would say like, maybe like parchment paper, maybe a little bit like wax paper. It's not waxy, but it's a little bit thick like that. All right, so let's start with gouache. This is acrylic gouache. Let me get a thingy, paintbrush. Get some water. This water's dirty, but don't look at it. I didn't change it from last night. All right. And I thought I would do, let's see. Now I know this stuff buckles up, but just, I think if you can use less water, it's not as bad. And you can always flatten it. But it's kind of fun. And you can do, it reminds me of those magic fish, you know, those fortune-telling fish that curl up. That's what it reminds me of. But if you wanted to draw something, you could use like, you could do like a mixed media. This is, I think it's just ink, just black ink. And I think it's not too bad. And I know this is dark. You can use lighter colors or fluorescence on this, I suppose. But that's a fluorescent on green. But you can, I mean, it's not all dark. You can use, and you can use other things on them as well. So this, well, I guess we'll do both on here. This is the ink. Ink, of course, is going to work on that. You might want to do like just ink, like black ink on the darker pages. All right. I meant to get regular gouache because this is acrylic gouache. I don't know if they're going to act any differently, but oh, here, let's put some of that there. All right, so I've seen people do like layered paintings, like they paint one thing on here and they'll do something else underneath. Like I saw someone do, I think it was, they did a face, like a little girl like looking, and then here on top they did a window with a bird outside, so you can do like a layered painting, which is kind of cool. All right, so this is the gouache on this. Like again, it's dark. I'm doing it specifically in dark because I know I have some things that will work on it. You know, so far so good with the vellum. Okay, this is a gel pen. I don't use these very much, but yes, it works on this. Of course, this is color that, I don't know. Probably want to use these on, I don't know, maybe a darker one actually, because this is sort of a medium. And it works on this, I suppose. Hard to see. I dragged out some watercolors. So if I was going to use watercolor on the vellum, I would try to do it as with as little water as possible, I think, because, oh, I did it over the top. And since watercolor is basically, it uses water to work, but, you know, that's what gouache is for. Gouache is like the opaque watercolor, so. And you can use it on this. You can see the colors are going to change if it's on a darker piece, but you could always use like a gesso on this. I'm not sure I'd use gesso on this, but you could put like a layer of gesso down so that it's lighter, and you could paint on that, I suppose. I have a Posca pen, which you can't really see because it's light, but yes, that works. Much like the gel pen. Kind of disappears on the green, but so this is acrylic. Acrylic works fine on this, but I don't know how much it's going to buckle. It's not buckling really. I'm surprised, but I haven't used a lot of water either, so. Oh, acrylic works nice on this. See? Just, I wouldn't do a whole lot of layers. I would do something lightly. Like that's why I think gouache would work well on it. These are also a gouache, but it's a dry gouache, so I thought, because you know me, I love Jane Davenport. Actually, this is the mistake one. I got, I think I probably talked about this when I got it. I got it and it has two pinks. So they actually sent me a replacement one because there's supposed to be a black in here. So that was nice. All right, let's get some gouache out here. This is like, it's such nice paint to work with. It's just, I don't know, I just like it. Look at that, that's so nice. And, yeah. So, I mean, it's gouache, so it'll work on both of these. Oh, you can see, this is the watercolor. You can see the watercolor is bubbling up. Ugh, it's bumpy. More than, I think it's just because you use more water with it. So I think the less water, the better. But like, I'm pretty sure if you just lay something heavy on it, like if you put this on top and then like throw a heavy book or something on it, it'll flatten it out. But it's kind of a neat effect. I watch, Jane does a lot of, Jane Davenport does a lot of live demonstrations of her products, and she uses, I'm pretty sure it's similar. She calls it like window pane or something, but I think it's vellum. And she does a lot of nice things on it, and it does crinkle up, but it does go back down too. It relaxes. So maybe it'll relax a little bit. I just tried this one. This is one of those Sennelier ink brush pens that I love. Seems to work fine on both. This is one of those Signo. They do come in white. This one happens to be silver, but that works really nice. Oh, it did until it ran out of ink. Okay, there we go. That looks really nice on the darker color, and it does work on this. These work really, I love Signo. These are the, I don't know who makes them. Uniball. Uniball Signo. This is some of the new ink that I got. Because I like ink. I like ink. I like gouache a lot. I like acrylic. So that does work. So I thought I'd try an alcohol marker. I don't use these very much, so I didn't think of it. But yeah, that works on that. Works on that. It's a little darker, but actually these are pretty cool on the vellum. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching, and thanks. I'll see you next time. Bye.